The unexpected assignment. The gleaming spires of New Singapore Station pierced the eternal night of space, their luminescent panels pulsing with the heartbeat of humanity's busiest orbital hub. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of her office, watching the constant dance of ships arriving and departing. After 15 years in the Interstellar Security Force, she thought she'd seen everything the cosmos had to offer. She was wrong. "Commander, your presence is requested in Admiral Wong's office immediately." The AI's voice carried an unusual urgency that made Sarah turn from the viewport. In her experience, immediate summons rarely brought good news. The station's executive level was deliberately intimidating, all polished obsidian surfaces and strict geometric lines. Sarah's boots clicked against the floor as she approached the Admiral's office, her reflection fragmenting across the walls. The door slid open before she could announce herself. Admiral Wong stood with his back to her, hands clasped behind him as he studied a holographic display. The image showed two figures that made Sarah pause. They appeared humanoid, but were clearly not human. Their skin had a subtle iridescence, like mother of pearl, and their eyes held an inner light that seemed to shift between colors. "Commander Chen," Wong said without turning, "what do you know about the Lyrians?" "Relatively new to the galactic stage, sir. Discovered faster than light travel about 50 years ago. Known for their precognitive abilities, though the extent of those abilities is debated. Generally peaceful, but extremely selective about their diplomatic relations." Wong nodded, finally turning to face her. "Good. What's not in the public briefings is that they're facing an internal crisis. Their governing council is split on whether to fully join the Galactic Confederation. The pro-integration faction has sent 2 representatives to make their case. Twins, which is extraordinarily rare among their species. The hologram zoomed in on the 2 figures. Despite their alien features, Sarah could see why they might be called beautiful by human standards. There was a symmetry to them that went beyond their identical appearance, as if they were 2 parts of a single equation. Your new assignment, Commander, is to serve as their security chief during their stay on New Singapore Station. They specifically requested human protection." Sarah frowned. "Sir, with respect, I'm better suited to active field operations. Diplomatic security is exactly what's needed here." Wong cut her off. "The Lyrians chose you specifically, Commander. They said, and I quote, 'We have seen the paths, and they all lead through her.'" A chill ran down Sarah's spine. The Lyrians' precognitive abilities were supposedly limited to vague impressions of probable futures. If they had seen her clearly enough to request her by name. "There's more," Wong continued, his expression growing grave. "We have reason to believe there are elements within both human and Lyrian society who don't want this diplomatic mission to succeed. These twins, they're called Area and Nova. They're not just ambassadors. They're something their society calls truth seekers. They can supposedly see deeper into probability streams than any Lyrian in generations." Sarah absorbed this information, her tactical mind already analyzing the security implications. "When do they arrive?" "They're already here." Wong's expression shifted slightly. "They've been waiting in the diplomatic quarter for the past 3 hours. They insisted on waiting until, in their words, the moments aligned." As if on cue, Sarah's comm unit chimed with an incoming message. The text scrolled across her retinal display. "The paths converge. We are ready to meet our guardian." Wong raised an eyebrow. "It seems your duties begin now, Commander. Remember, this isn't just about protecting 2 diplomats. The Lyrians' integration into the Confederation could shift the balance of power in this sector of space. Whatever you do, don't let their apparent fragility fool you. They're playing a game none of us fully understand." Sarah straightened her uniform and nodded. "Understood, sir. I'll head to the diplomatic quarter now." As she turned to leave, Wong added, "And Commander, they have a habit of speaking in riddles and probabilities. Try not to let it get to you." The trip to the diplomatic quarter gave Sarah time to process the assignment. The station's transport tube whisked her through several security checkpoints, each one recognizing her elevated clearance automatically. Her mind raced with questions. Why had the Lyrians really requested human protection? What had they seen in their probability streams that made them choose her? The diplomatic quarters entrance opened into a garden chamber designed to showcase various earth plants for visiting dignitaries. As Sarah stepped inside, she immediately spotted the twins standing near a cherry blossom tree. They turned to face her in perfect synchronization, their iridescent skin catching the artificial sunlight. "Commander Chen." They spoke in unison, their voices carrying an almost musical quality. "The threads of probability have woven true. You are exactly as we foresaw." Sarah maintained her professional composure, though something about their presence made her skin prickle. "Ladies, I'm honored to serve as your security chief during your stay." Arya, or was it Nova, stepped forward. "Please, Commander, we know you have questions. The surface assignment is but the first layer of a deeper truth." The other twin moved to stand beside her sister. "We chose you because in every future where our mission succeeds, you stand at a crucial nexus point." "And what mission would that be?" Sarah asked carefully, beyond the diplomatic discussions about joining the Confederation. The twins exchanged a look that seemed to carry an entire conversation. "For now," they said together, "we must play the roles expected of us. But soon, very soon, you will understand why we really came to this station, why it had to be you, and why the fate of multiple civilizations may depend on what happens here in the next few weeks." Sarah felt the weight of their words settle over her like a physical presence. Whatever game these twins were playing, whatever truth they were hiding, she was now irreversibly part of it. As she began to outline their security protocols, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was stepping onto a path that would change not just her life, but the course of human-alien relations forever. The cherry blossoms swayed in the artificial breeze, and somewhere in the station's vast network of corridors and chambers, the first moves of a cosmic chess game were already in motion. Shadows of conspiracy. Commander Sarah Chen's first week protecting the Lyrian twins proved more challenging than any combat operation she'd ever led. Arya and Nova moved through the station like ethereal beings, their synchronized movements drawing attention wherever they went. But it wasn't their alien grace that unsettled Sarah. It was their habit of answering questions before she asked them. "The delegation from Europa will be 17 minutes late," Arya announced during their third day, moments before Sarah's comm unit chimed with the delay notification. "The probability streams show mechanical issues with their shuttle." Nova tilted her head, her pearlescent skin shimming under the station's lights. "They will attempt to use this delay to their advantage in negotiations. The probability of success is less than 12%. Sarah had learned to take such predictions in stride, but something about this one caught her attention. What kind of advantage? The twins spoke in their unsettling unison. "They believe our request for human protection shows weakness. They are incorrect. We chose humans because of their unique ability to defy probability itself." Before Sarah could probe deeper, her security system flagged an anomaly. Someone was attempting to access the diplomatic quarters' environmental controls through a maintenance backdoor. Sarah's fingers flew across her tactical pad, tracing the intrusion attempt. "No need for concern, Guardian," Nova said softly. "The attempt will fail. But you should record the signature of the attack. It will prove important in approximately 73 hours. Sarah did as suggested, though she filed away another mental note about the twins' increasingly specific predictions. The initial briefings had claimed Lyrian precognition was limited to vague impressions. Either those briefings were wrong, or these twins were something entirely different from normal Lyrians. Later that evening, as Sarah reviewed security footage in her office, she noticed a pattern. Every time the twins attended a diplomatic function, certain representatives from both human and alien delegations would watch them with barely concealed hostility. More concerning were the representatives who showed no reaction at all. Their carefully maintained neutrality screamed of training. "Computer, Cross-reference all attendees from the past week's diplomatic functions. Flag anyone with military or intelligence backgrounds. The results made her blood run cold. Nearly 30% of the diplomatic staff had connections to various intelligence agencies or military special operations. This wasn't just a diplomatic mission. It was a gathering of spies. A soft chime announced a visitor. The twins entered before Sarah could respond, moving with their usual fluid grace. "You begin to see the layers now," Arya said, settling into a chair that seemed to have been waiting for her. "The visible and the hidden." Nova remained standing, her gaze fixed on the security displays. The attack on the environmental systems was merely a test. They needed to gauge your capabilities. "Guardian." "Who are they?" Sarah demanded, her patience with cryptic answers wearing thin. "And why do you keep calling me Guardian?" The twins shared one of their mysterious looks. "We call you Guardian because that is what you will become, not just for us, but for the truth we carry." As for they, Arya's voice trailed off. "There are factions," Nova continued, "both human and alien, who believe that what we have foreseen must never come to pass. They fear the changes that our revelations will bring." Sarah leaned forward. "What exactly have you foreseen?" "A convergence," they answered in unison. "A moment when multiple civilizations will face a choice, unity or extinction. But the path to that moment is fragile, and there are those who prefer the current balance of power, even if it leads to destruction." A priority alert flashed across Sarah's displays. Someone had just tried to access her personal files, not the usual probing attempt, but a sophisticated attack that bore the hallmarks of professional intelligence work. "Right on schedule," Arya murmured. "They grow desperate. The probability streams show increasing chaos as they realize their conventional methods will fail." Sarah's fingers danced across her console, reinforcing her security protocols. "These attacks are coordinated. Someone's trying to prove I'm not up to this assignment." "No," Nova corrected gently. "They are trying to prove to themselves that humans can be predicted and controlled. That is why they will fail. Human unpredictability is not a weakness, as they believe. It is your species' greatest strength." The next attack came through an unexpected vector. A maintenance bot suddenly deviated from its programmed route, heading straight for the twins' quarters. Sarah's hand dropped to her sidearm, but Arya raised a delicate hand. "Watch," she said softly. The bot reached the halfway point to their quarters, then abruptly stopped. Its control panel sparked, and it powered down completely. Sarah's diagnostic scan showed its entire command core had been wiped clean. "How did you?" Sarah began. "We didn't," Nova interrupted. "You did. 17 hours from now, you will write a security protocol that will backtrack through time thanks to the station's quantum communication network. That protection is already in place because it will be placed." Sarah's head spun trying to follow the temporal logic, but she was distracted by another alert. This one made her curse under her breath. Someone had just tried to access the station's secure archives, specifically the classified files about first contact with the Lyrians. "The pieces align," Arya said, standing. "Guardian, you should prepare yourself. In the next 48 hours, 3 attempts will be made on our lives. 2 will be distractions. The third," she paused, sharing another look with her sister. "The third will force you to make a choice," Nova finished. "That choice will determine whether humanity faces the coming storm alone or with allies." "What coming storm?" Sarah demanded. "What are you not telling me?" The twins moved to the door in perfect synchronization. "When you uncover the truth about first contact," they said together, "you will understand why we chose humanity. Why we chose you. The storm is already here, Guardian. It has been here since before your species reached for the stars." After they left, Sarah stared at the classified files alert for a long moment. Then, against all protocol and better judgment, she began to dig. If someone wanted these files badly enough to risk a high-level security breach, then whatever truth they contained had to be significant. As she bypassed the first layer of security, a message flashed across her screen. Access granted by future protocol. Sarah paused, remembering Nova's words about the security system she would write 17 hours from now. The files began to decrypt, and with each new revelation, Sarah understood more about why the twins had really come to the station. The truth about first contact with the Lyrians wasn't just classified. It had been systematically erased from history. But as she would soon learn, some truths refuse to stay buried, and some storms cannot be avoided. They can only be weathered together. The hidden truth. The classified files about first contact left Sarah sleepless, her mind racing with implications. The official story. That humanity had discovered the Lyrians during routine exploration was a carefully constructed lie. The truth was far more unsettling. The Lyrians had been watching humanity for centuries, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Her tactical pad chimed. Another attempted breach of station security, this one targeting the environmental systems again. Sarah dealt with it automatically, her thoughts elsewhere. According to the classified files, the Lyrians hadn't just been observing humanity. They had been studying how humans consistently defied statistical probability in crisis situations. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. The twins entered, their iridescent skin seeming to absorb the office's dim lighting. "You've seen the files," Arya said. It wasn't a question. "Why didn't you just tell me the truth from the beginning?" Sarah demanded. "About why you're really here." Nova moved to the window, watching the stars. "Truth is like light through a prism, Guardian. Show too much at once, and it blinds. Show too little, and shadows persist." "No more riddles," Sarah said firmly. "The files show your people have been studying humanity's capacity to defy probability." "Why?" The twins exchanged their characteristic look, but this time Sarah caught something new in it. Fear. "Because," they said in unison, "we have seen the end of everything, and only humanity's gift for defying the impossible can prevent it." Before Sarah could respond, the station's lights flickered. Her security systems screamed warnings, multiple breaches, all simultaneously targeting critical systems. This wasn't a probe or a test. This was the real attack the twins had predicted. 3 minutes until life support fails in the diplomatic quarter, her eye reported calmly. Sarah's training took over. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Lock down all critical systems and—" "It won't be enough," Arya interrupted. "This attack exists in multiple probability streams. In most of them, the station suffers catastrophic damage." "Most of them?" Sarah asked, already moving to the emergency console. "There is one path," Nova said softly. "One probability where human ingenuity combined with our foresight prevents disaster. But it requires trust, Guardian. Complete trust." The emergency lights turned red. 2 minutes to life support failure. The attack is coming from inside the station, Sarah realized, watching the pattern of system failures. Someone with high-level access is. "Admiral Wong," the twins said together. "But not by choice. They are using his credentials, forced from him 12 hours ago." Sarah's mind raced. The Admiral's credentials would let them bypass almost every security measure she could implement. Almost. "Your future security protocol," she said suddenly. "The one you said I would write. It's in place now, isn't it?" The twins nodded. "But it requires an activation key that only you can provide. A decision that defies probability itself. 1 minute to life support failure." Sarah looked at her tactical display. By all logic, by all probability, the station was about to suffer a catastrophic system failure. People would die. But the twins had said humanity's gift was defying probability. "What do you need from me?" "Give us access to your neural link," they said in unison. "Allow us to show you what we've seen. The truth about why we chose humanity. Why we chose you." 45 seconds. Giving aliens access to her neural link violated every security protocol in existence. It could be a trap. It could be. Sarah made her decision. She opened her neural link's security protocols and granted the twins access. The universe exploded in her mind. She saw it all. The real reason the Lyrians had been watching humanity. The pattern they had detected in human history, a pattern of consistently defying astronomical odds when faced with extinction. The mathematical impossibility of humanity's survival through countless near-extinction events. And she saw what was coming. A wave of entropy accelerating through the galaxy, breaking down the fundamental forces that held reality together. In every probability stream the Lyrians had explored, it led to the end of all things. Except for the streams where humanity got involved, where human unpredictability, human defiance of statistical probability, created paths that shouldn't exist. Now, the twins whispered in her mind, use what we've shown you. See the path that no probability could predict. Sarah's fingers flew across her console, implementing a solution that made no logical sense, that violated basic principles of computer security. She wrote code that shouldn't work, that couldn't work. The emergency lights went green. Life support restored, the AI announced. Security breach contained. Unknown security protocols activated. Sarah blinked, her mind still reeling from the neural link connection. What did I just do? You wrote a security protocol that will echo backward through time, Aria explained. One that exists because it will exist. A temporal paradox that only human minds can conceive without rejecting it as impossible. And in doing so, Nova added, you proved why we chose humanity. Why we need you for what comes next. Sarah stood on shaky legs, her tactical display showing the station returning to normal operations. The entropy wave you showed me. How long do we have? By our most optimistic calculations, 30 years, they answered together. Unless humanity can do what we do best. Sarah finished. Defy the impossible. Yes, they said. But first, we must survive the next 24 hours. What you saw in our minds, there are others who would kill to prevent that knowledge from spreading. The attack on the station was only their first move. Sarah checked her weapons and straightened her uniform. Then we better make sure their next move fails. I assume you've seen the probabilities. The twins smiled. Their first genuine smile since arriving on the station. We see the probabilities, Guardian. But you see the possibilities. That is why we chose you. That is why humanity may be the key to saving everything. Outside the office window, ships continued their eternal dance around New Singapore Station, their crews unaware that the future of all existence might depend on humanity's unique gift for defying the odds. Sarah activated her comm unit. Security Team Alpha, meet me in briefing room 1. We have work to do. The twins followed her from the office, moving with their ethereal grace. Remember, Guardian, they said softly, what comes next will require you to think beyond probability, beyond possibility, beyond the impossible, Sarah replied. Yeah, I'm getting used to that. Alliance of necessity. The briefing room hummed with tension as Sarah laid out the situation to her security team. She'd selected these officers personally over the years, the best of the best, each chosen for their ability to think creatively in impossible situations. Now looking at their faces as she explained what the twins had shown her, she searched for signs of disbelief. Instead, she found determination. Let me get this straight, Lieutenant Martinez said, leaning forward. An entropy wave is coming that will destroy everything, and humanity's tendency to defy probability might be the key to stopping it. And right now, Sarah added, there's a group trying to prevent this information from getting out by any means necessary, including the attack on station systems we just prevented. Officer Chen, no relation. Finished. Using the Admiral's compromised credentials. The twins stood in the corner, their ethereal presence almost forgotten until Aria spoke. The probability streams show 3 possible attack vectors in the next 12 hours. In 2 of them, They succeed in silencing us. And the third? Sarah asked. The third. Nova paused, sharing a look with her sister. The third depends on a cascade of highly improbable events, each building on the last. In any logical analysis, it would be dismissed as impossible. Sarah smiled grimly. Then that's the one we're aiming for. Humanity's specialty is impossible odds. She turned to her tactical display, bringing up a station schematic. First priority is finding the Admiral. The twins say he was taken 12 hours ago. That means he's still on station. No ships have departed since then. Unless they use the maintenance tubes, Officer Chen suggested. The old supply lines from the station's original construction. They're supposed to be sealed, but they connect to every major section of the station. Sarah finished. Perfect for moving unseen. Lieutenant, get me access to the thermal imaging for those tubes. As her team worked, Sarah noticed the twins watching with unusual intensity. What is it? In none of our probability streams, they said in unison, did we foresee this level of immediate adaptation to new information. Your species doesn't just defy probability. You actively reshape it. An alert flashed on the tactical display. Got something, Martins announced. Thermal signature in maintenance tube C7, level 34. It's faint, but it's moving. Sarah studied the pattern. They're heading for the auxiliary docking bay. Officer Chen, lock down all docking protocols. Martinez, take Team 2 and. The station shuddered violently. Multiple explosions detected, the AI announced calmly. Structural damage on levels 30 through 35. Emergency containment fields activated. They're not trying to escape, Sarah realized. They're trying to destroy this entire section of the station, with all of us in it. The twins stepped forward, their skin pulsing with an inner light. The cascade begins, they said. Guardian, what you do in the next 7 minutes will determine not just our survival, but the first step in humanity's roll against the entropy wave. Sarah's mind raced. The maintenance tubes, the explosions, why those specific levels? They're not just trying to kill us, she said slowly. They're trying to destroy something else, something on those levels. What aren't you telling me? The twins' inner light pulsed brighter. On level 33, in a sealed quantum vault, is the proof of humanity's first interaction with our species. Not from 50 years ago, but from over 1,000 years ago. Proof that humans have been unconsciously manipulating probability since your species began. Proof that you are more than you believe yourselves to be. Another explosion rocked the station. Sarah made a decision. Martinez, take Team 2 and evacuate everyone above level 29. Chen, get me schematics for the quantum vault. The rest of you with me. We're going to do something stupid. How stupid? Chen asked, already pulling up the schematics. We're going to use the explosions against them, Sarah said, studying the maintenance tube layout. The structural damage they're causing, if we time it right. The probability of success is less than 0.003%, the twins warned. Sarah grinned. Then we're already doing better than usual. Listen carefully. Here's the plan. What followed was a masterclass in human improvisation. As more explosions threatened to tear the station apart, Sarah's team moved through the chaos with precision born of trust and training. They didn't try to stop the explosions. Instead, they redirected them, using the station's own damage control systems to create a controlled cascade of structural failures. They're trying to reach the vault, Martins reported over comms. But the way they're moving. Commander, these aren't normal operatives. Their movements are too perfect, too calculated. Probability engines, the twins said. Living computers that calculate and follow the most likely path to success. Our species created them centuries ago, before we understood the danger of removing uncertainty from the equation. Sarah watched the tactical display as her plan unfolded. The enemy operatives were indeed moving with inhuman precision, but that was their weakness. They were following the most probable path to success, which meant They can't conceive of deliberately causing more damage to achieve our goal, she realized. Chen, initiate sequence delta. Martinez, fall back to position 4. Let's show them why probability isn't everything. The next 3 minutes were chaos. Sarah's team triggered a series of controlled decompressions, using the sudden pressure changes to force the probability engines into predictable retreat patterns. The enemy operatives, bound by their programming to follow the most efficient paths, walked right into the trap. When it was over, 6 probability engines lay deactivated, their perfectly constructed bodies sprawled in poses that looked almost surprised. The quantum vault remained secure, and Admiral Wong was found alive, if shaken, in a sealed maintenance compartment. You deliberately caused more damage to the station, Area observed as cleanup crews moved in, choosing a path so improbable that the probability engines couldn't even conceive of it as a possibility. Sometimes the best way through a problem is to make it bigger first, Sarah said, watching her team's work. Humanity learned it the hard way through countless disasters and near extinctions. We survived because we never limited ourselves to the probable. And that, Nova added softly, is why we believe you can help us stop the entropy wave. The calculations say it's impossible. The probability streams show no path to success. But you've proven that probability isn't destiny, they said together. Now we must prepare for the real challenge. The entropy wave is only the symptom. The true enemy is what's causing it. And that enemy has noticed humanity's gift. Sarah checked her weapon and straightened her uniform. How long until they make their move? The twins shared a look that seemed to span eternities. They already have Guardian. The attack on the station wasn't just about the vault. It was a test. They wanted to see how humans would react to their probability engines. And what did they learn? That they should be very, very afraid. Beyond the horizon, the quantum vault on level 33 looked unimpressive, a simple cube of dark metal embedded in the station's walls. But as Sarah watched the twins interface with its security systems, she could feel the weight of history pressing down on her. The entropy wave, she said, you still haven't explained who's causing it. Or why. The vault's surface rippled like liquid metal as it recognized the twins' biosignatures. Area spoke without turning. They call themselves the architects. They believe universe should follow strict mathematical laws. Probability should be absolute. They see humanity's gift as an aberration, Nova continued, a flaw in their perfect equations. The entropy wave is not just a weapon. It's their attempt to rewrite the fundamental laws of reality. The vault opened, revealing not physical contents but a complex holographic matrix. As Sarah watched, it coalesced into images that took her breath away. Ancient cave paintings showing Lyrian observers, mathematical proofs of humanity's statistical impossibilities, and finally, a map of the entropy wave's progress across the galaxy. The architects have shaped countless civilizations, the twins explained in unison, guiding them toward perfect predictability. But humanity evolved without their influence. You developed something they thought impossible, the ability to unconsciously manipulate quantum probability fields. Sarah studied the map. How many civilizations have they guided? Thousands. Most believe themselves free, but their development was subtly manipulated over millennia to follow predictable paths. The architects believe they're creating perfect order. At the cost of free will, Sarah said, of creativity, of everything that makes life worth living. Yes. The twins' inner light pulsed with emotion. We Lyrians were among the first they shaped. Our precognitive abilities were meant to make us perfect predictors of probability. But then we saw humanity, and for the first time, we saw hope. The holographic display shifted, showing the entropy wave's projected path. It would reach Earth in 30 years, but before that, it would consume countless other civilizations. The architects don't just want to eliminate humanity, Sarah realized. They want to make an example of us. Show every other civilization what happens to aberrations. Correct. But they've made a critical error. The twins smiled their ethereal smile. They don't understand that humanity's gift isn't just about defying probability. It's about inspiring others to do the same. The station's alert system suddenly blared to life. Multiple unidentified vessels emerging from faster-than-light travel, the AI announced. Energy signatures matched no known configuration. Sarah's tactical display lit up with dozens of contacts. The ships were wrong somehow. Too perfect in their geometry, too precise in their movements. They moved like the probability engines, but on a massive scale. The architects, the twins said, they come to eliminate the evidence of their existence, to destroy the vault, this station, and everyone who knows the truth. Sarah was already moving. How long until they're in weapons range? 4 minutes. Conventional defense would be useless. Their technology operates on principles your weapons can't affect. Who said anything about conventional defense? Sarah activated her command frequency. All security teams, implement protocol Omega Black. Lieutenant Martinez, remember that stupid plan we discussed. Time to find out if it works. The twins watched with growing fascination as Sarah's teams scrambled into action. What are you planning, Guardian? You said humanity's gift is inspiring others to defy probability. Well, she grinned. Let's put that to the test. Chen, status on the quantum communication array. Reconfigured according to your specs, Commander. But this is completely untested. The power requirements alone will either work or kill us all. Sarah finished. Better than letting them win. Twins, I need you to broadcast what you showed me. About humanity's gift. About the architects. To every ship in range. Not just the information, but the emotional impact. Make them feel what it means to defy probability. The architect ships were closing fast, their perfect formation an affront to the chaos of natural space. But Sarah had learned something important. Perfect order was its own weakness. It couldn't adapt to true randomness. Broadcasting now, the twins confirmed. Their inner light had become almost blinding. Sarah watched her tactical display as the message spread, carried by the quantum array's impossible connections. The signal reached nearby ships first, civilian vessels, trading ships, diplomatic craft. For a moment, nothing happened. Then something extraordinary began. The ships, dozens of them, then hundreds as the message spread, began to move. Not in retreat, but in defiance. Ships from species that had been enemies for generations moved in concert, their movements deliberately chaotic, creating patterns that no probability engine could predict. It's working, Nova whispered. They're awakening to their own potential. The architect's conditioning is breaking down. The architect ships faltered. Their perfect formation wavered as they encountered something their mathematical models couldn't process. Spontaneous, multi-species cooperation that defied all statistical probability. Sarah keyed her command frequency. All ships, execute quantum burst on my mark. Remember, don't think about what should work. Think about what couldn't possibly work. That's what they can't handle. The architect ships began to fire, their weapons bending space itself. But they were firing at probabilities that no longer existed, at ships moving in patterns that shouldn't be possible. Now, every ship in range fired their engines in precisely the wrong way, creating a cascade of quantum fluctuations that no mathematical model could predict. The twins added their own power, turning probability itself into a weapon. Space rippled. Reality shuddered. The architect ships, perfect, predictable, unstoppable, began to break apart. Not from weapons fire, but from encountering too many impossibilities at once. Their probability engines overloaded, unable to process a universe that refused to follow their perfect equations. In less than 10 minutes, it was over. The architect ships were gone, their perfect geometries shattered by the chaotic beauty of free will. This isn't the end, the twins warned as cleanup crews began assessing damage to the station. The entropy wave still comes. The architects will try again. But not against just humanity this time, Sarah said, watching the impromptu fleet of allies holding position around the station. They wanted to make an example of us. Well, they succeeded, just not the way they intended. We showed everyone that probability isn't destiny. And that, the twins said with their enigmatic smile, is why we chose humanity. Not just for your gift of defying probability, but for your gift of teaching others to do the same. The real war for the future of free will has only begun. Sarah looked out at the fleet of ships, human vessels flying alongside ancient enemies, trade ships beside warships. All of them awakened to their own potential for defying the impossible. Then let's show them what impossibility really means. The twins nodded in unison. Indeed, Guardian. Indeed. Above New Singapore Station, the combined fleet began training for a war unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Not a war of weapons and ships, but a war for the right to defy probability itself. A war for the right to choose their own destiny. And humanity would lead the way, one impossible victory at a time.